Now, it's been less than a week since Joe Biden was sworn in as America's 46th president, but there's been plenty of speculation and also discussion on what his presidency could mean for the future of China-US relations. Now, CGTN's Omar Han sat down with the president of the American Chamber of Commerce in South China, or AmCham South China, to hear his take on what's next for economic ties.
It's been 4 years of seeing these two economies decouple, go in opposite directions. But now we have a new president in the White House. You look at Joe Biden coming in, what would you say is his biggest sort of mandate in moving forward and repairing China-US relations, specifically when it comes to trade?
Well, certainly there's been a lot of friction, but I can certainly tell you there has been no decoupling. Our latest research which we did on the second half of 2020 showed that not a single company was willing to leave China permanently to set up someplace else. So decoupling is not something that I believe is going to happen. Certainly, I think the Biden administration is going to try to look at the U.S.-China relationship in a different way, very much the same way as President Biden and Vice President Harris have said during the campaign. And had said during the campaign. And I do believe that there's going to be fairly long-term honeymoon period between the two countries where they both have a very good opportunity to try to balance things, to try to find out what's going on between them, try to put the past behind them, and to make things work going forward on a cooperative, friendly fashion.
There is a host of tariffs and trade barriers imposed on both countries, coming from Beijing and coming from Washington. Do you expect that to be eased or lifted in perhaps next year, or are we looking even further?
The trade deficit of what used to be 400 billion, and it's now 575 billion as of last year, is just around 2% of the total economy, a little over 2% last year. Now, if you put that in perspective, where you and I are countries, we each have a GDP of $1,000 each, that means I sold you $20 more than you sold me. It does not throw my economy apart. So we really need to begin to look at the reality of what the trade is doing to us, what opportunities it's creating, at the same time as we can try to create a balance where American consumers and American companies can benefit far more from China's doing business with China, and Chinese economy and Chinese people can benefit from American supplies and products and services, which we do so well.
Looking at the next 4 years, we can forget the past 4 years, but looking forward, what is your overall expectation of how this relationship, specifically related to trade, develops?
There are many, many issues in the world that need to be tackled jointly by U.S. and China going forward. There's famine. There are diseases that we need to control. There are rebuilding of the economic South that has really begun to suffer because of COVID-19. We need to make sure that supply chains are open. We need to make sure we expand supply chains, not limit the supply chains. There's a lot of things. The climate itself, we need to work together. We need to create a better field for all humanity to benefit from by just simply working together.